I mean, I was told by my film professor, there are films and there are movies. And sometimes you've got to know what you're walking into.
Yeah. See, but I come from a time when movies were films.
Another month, another podcast. I think that's what they say. Maybe. I don't know. Hey, look, I've been going through this whole 365 movies for 1 year thing. It's been a slow and very tedious journey. Last month, for the month of June, wasn't really in my favor. A very bad month for work-life balance. Only watched 20 movies. That's really terrible. That's like god-awful. That's horrendously bad for movie watching. I've been averaging like 7 movies a week and at least like 1 film a day, but that's gone down pretty significantly. Now I'm at like 6.6 average a week, and it's just been really bad. A lot of just, terrible life stuff getting in the way, work and, studying, really boring adult stuff. I hate being an adult, but whatever, we still got to grind through it. I figured even though it was a pretty bad month, before I go out to the gym and work on the gains, I figured I'd just, come on here, give you my quick 20 movies I watched for the month of June and just move on with my life. Try to make July a better month for me. We're only like 10 films down, or like 10, 11 films down. So all we got to do, just watch some extra films here and there, and we'll just quickly get to that goal once again. It's just kind of a little hump in the road, but we'll get back to it. We'll get back on track. With all that yabbering out of the way, I'll go ahead and leave my letterbox down below if you want to follow us along. But with all that said and done, we're going to go ahead and start off on June the 2nd, which is when I watched my first film of the month. Even though it was a pretty short month, the quality for the month was still, somewhat pretty good. There was some pretty bad stinkers in this month, but still, there was a lot of good films in there too. Not for the first day, though. I mean, for the first day, we watched Definitely Maybe. It's not Ryan Gosling, but Ryan Reynolds. Close enough, I guess, on some instances. Definitely Maybe is a pretty good rom-com. It's pretty fun. I love the screenplay. It's really different, and it was overall pretty fun time. I think I've seen this before, but if it's the first time seeing it, it was overall a pretty good first watch. Second film of the month was The Wild from Disney. I mean, The Wild is like one of the best films ever made, so, had to tap back into it. And I just really don't know what I'm doing with my life anymore. I think I'm just very lost and don't know what I'm doing with my life. And it definitely shows by me watching The Wild at like 5 in the morning. It's really weird. Whatever. After The Wild, I hopped into Minari, which is one of my favorite films of the decade so far. Really a film that I just connect to so much more now, and it's just even so much better after the first time I watched it. I can never get enough of this film, from the score to the actors to the cinematography. It's all just breathtaking. It's all just absolutely masterful, and I need more of it. After Minari, I'm still kind of keeping on that, A24 themed month we have going here. So I hopped into the Zone of Interest from last year. Never got a chance to see it. And Zone of Interest is a really good film. I don't love it that much, but I still respect it to a degree. When I first heard that Jonathan Glazer was doing this film and heard the main, plot synopsis for it, I was definitely very confused as to why you would do this kind of movie, in this kind of, setting, this day and age. It doesn't really seem smart to do it. It seems like it would fail. It seems like it would be stupid. It seems like it would get a lot of backlash. But yet this film does things that's very, easily can be taken out and just really hated on. But if you watch it and really understand it, you really appreciate what it's doing and how it's telling the story. A story about the Holocaust, but not exactly feeling like a heavy Holocaust story. It's good. It's really different, really interesting. I'll recommend you watch it, form your own opinion, but I personally loved it. After the Zone of Interest, I hopped into The Hitman from one of my goats of all time right now. He's a pretty cool director. I don't know if you know him, kind of indie on the scene. He doesn't really, make a lot of big movies. He's made films like the Before trilogy, Days of Confused. You probably never heard of him, but Richard Linklater, really one of my favorites of all time right now. And also Glenn Powell, he's really killing it. One of the best in Hollywood right now as well. This film, one of my favorites on the year so far. Haven't seen a lot of films for 2024 yet, but this one is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I really enjoyed myself with it. After The Hitman, a film that's a little bit better was Punch Drunk Love. I watched Punch Drunk Love about last year, like exactly a year ago at this point, and I never really understood what Punch Drunk Love was trying to do. I knew that I would love this movie, but never really had the, understanding of film to really appreciate it at the time. After rewatching Punch Drunk Love, I just absolutely love this film. I'm absolutely in love with it. I want to get it on Blu-ray like right now. And also Paul Thomas Anderson, really just an absolutely brilliant filmmaker. He makes films very different, and this film is really different, really weird. Not everyone's going to really understand it and appreciate it, but once you do understand and appreciate it, you're going to love it. So Punch Drunk Love is just really incredible, brilliant, breathtaking. I just really want to see it again now. I just want to go ahead and throw it on after this recording. But we're going to move on, though, to the next watch, which was Happy Feet. Happy Feet from the same director who did Mad Max. Happy Feet is a movie. It exists. It's not Surf's Up. It's that other Penguin movie with the tap dancing. So, I don't like it, but I don't hate it either. It just kind of exists for me, I guess. I did give it 3.5 out of 5 though, so I must have been grooving when I was watching it because it is, kind of a groovy film. But it kind of comes and goes. It's whatever. I don't really double talk about that much anymore. But after Happy Feet, watch Blade Runner, the first one from 1982, and this film is breathtaking, exquisite, one of my favorite franchises of all time. This movie is just really, really good. I mean, on all fronts, absolutely incredible. And just to be clear, this was the final cut for Blade Runner. If you're going to watch Blade Runner 1982, please watch the final cut of the film and you'll really enjoy it, really understand it. I mean, you may have to watch like 2 or 3 times, maybe 5 times to really get it, but once you do get it, you're going to love it. I promise you. And after that first Blade Runner film, we're still keeping on with this, A24 themed month here. So I went into Swiss Army Man from the Daniels, and this film is surprisingly good. I didn't really think I would love it this much, but yeah, it's good. It's not everything everywhere all at once, but it is still a very interesting film that only they can do. I mean, if the Daniels weren't making this film, it would just be absolutely terrible, absolutely just ridiculous and absurd. But since they're doing it, it makes a little bit of sense. Even though me watching a man stranded on an island trying to convince a dead guy that he's in love with a girl may sound outlandish and weird, it somehow makes sense in a very weird, nonsensical way. And after Swiss Army Man, one of my favorite watches of the entire month, another rewatch was for Isle of Dogs from Wes Anderson. I love Wes Anderson so much. He's just an absolutely incredible filmmaker and also loves stop motion animated films. This one of my favorites of all time. I mean, that list is kind of short, but still, Isle of Dogs is just really a fun one to go through. I want to watch it again already. I mean, this film is just such a fun time from start to finish. The voice acting's there. Set design's there, costume design's there, the lighting, cinematography, absolutely scrumptious. Another instance where only Wes Anderson can make this film and make it work, make it just feel so fluent, even though it's kind of outlandish plot and kind of, a film that not everyone's really going to understand. It's a good one. It's a really good one that you'll really enjoy. After Isle of Dogs, I hopped into Living, which came out in 2022. This film is a remake for Akira Kurosawa's Ikiru, which is one of my favorite films of all time. So I had a lot of high hopes for this film to be really good. And this film is one shot really well. I mean, the 1:1 aspect ratio is absolutely beautiful. But the film itself, I think, is interesting because it's a remake. So, it's a lot of pressure for them to really get some things right. But yet at the same time, I'm really disappointed as well. There's some instances that I point out to and I say, hey, that worked a lot better in the original, and also vice versa. Some instances where I say, hey, I like the way they did this moment in the film, and it really does elevate this moment that the original film doesn't really have. But Living is still just like a cheap copy of what Akira was trying to be and what it ended up being, which is one of the best films ever made. Living is at times a worthy successor for what that film was trying to be, but really overall, it's just kind of mediocre. I could maybe see myself revisiting this here and there, but really, it's just not as good. I wouldn't really recommend it. Just watch the original, it's much better. After Living, I went into the Monsters, Inc. movies. Why? Is because I was studying, so I have my tests and my notes on one screen. The second monitor in my setup is Monsters, Inc., so, did that elevate my studying? Absolutely. So, I definitely recommend that for your studying. And Monsters, Inc. #1, really classic, incredible, hilarious, really funny. It's really just all around a great Pixar film. Is it the best? No, I mean, you still have like Ratatouille and stuff out there, but I still appreciate Monsters, Inc. And as for Monsters University, I absolutely love this movie, like from start to finish. This film is just really hilarious, perhaps the most funny Pixar film ever made, and it will always be that for me. I never understand the, Pixar Monsters University hate. I understand Pixar does really a bad job with sequels, but this one in particular is just absolutely incredible. It's really hilarious, maybe at times even better than the first film. But both of them I still really appreciate and really respect. And after Monsters University, I decided to go into a film that I wanted to see last year but never really got a chance to, and that was Wonka with Timothée Chalamet. This movie is like really incredible. I love this film. I heard a lot of people hating on it, saying that it's really bad, it's really terrible, it's stupid, it's dumb. I don't think we watched the same film because Wonka is just an absolutely exquisite and incredible film. I mean, Timothée Chalamet is a very different Willy Wonka. He's not like Johnny Depp where he's like, a little bit crazy. And then Gene Wilder is just an absolute psychopath. But, his version of Willy Wonka, a little more charming, a little more fun, which I really respect and appreciate. And then after Wonka, I went into After Sun from A24, which is a masterpiece, 5 out of 5. I've talked about it enough already. So, go see After Sun already. I don't know what you're doing. Then after that, Blade Runner 2049, Denis Villeneuve, another set of 5 out of 5 stars because, Blade Runner is just really, just absolutely brilliant. It's incredible. 10 out of 10, 5 stars. Is that very film bro of me? yeah, I'm not going to deny it, but still, I love it, and it's definitely worth your time. I mean, if you haven't seen 2049, I'm not really sure what you're doing. Like, go watch that right now, please. Then after 2049, I went to a film that I really wanted to see for a long time now. This film was from A24. It was supposed to come out last year in August, but the strikes really messed things up. So it kind of got pushed into March, right around Dune as well. So no one really knew about it. No one really still knows about it, but I knew about it for a little bit. And that was Problemista. Sure enough. Yeah, okay, sure. This film's pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it. It's actually a really fun time. A very different film. It's kind of like a film that I've seen a lot, a kid in, New York, really broke, trying to make his way up in the world. But this film tells that story a little bit differently, which is what makes it really fun. I won't exactly spoil too much, but Problemista is definitely a really fun watch and definitely worth your time. I only gave Problemista a 3.5 out of 5 stars, but it really could honestly go up. And I really love this film. It's a really fun time, really just fun, incredible film. After Problemista, another film that I've been really wanting to watch for a really long time now was Suzume from last year. Another film that kind of came and went and was really hard to find anywhere to stream, but Netflix came in clutch, which is very rare for Netflix, but still, Netflix came in clutch and I decided to go ahead and tap into it, and I really loved it. Suzume comes to us from the same guy who did Your Name, and Your Name being one of the best films really ever made. I had some pretty high hopes for this film, and they definitely met those, things I had in mind. But, this film isn't exactly a romance film. I thought it was at first, but it's just more of a, existential, thematically rich kind of drama. So it has some romance in there, a teeny bit, but it's not that kind of story, which is fine. But still, it's still a fun time. I really enjoyed it. A lot of action, a lot of beautiful animation, great voice acting, and I want to watch it again, really. I mean, I'm not a big anime guy, but, I have some times here and there when you tap into them. After Suzume, another anime, that being Ocean Waves from Studio Ghibli. This film is, one of the lesser known Ghibli films. It's not exactly bad, but not really good either. This film's only like an hour and 17 minutes long, so I would recommend you watch it to form your own opinion. But still, Ocean Waves really does feel like unbearable at times. I do understand the story, understand what it's doing, but it definitely could have done a better job at really telling the story, really just telling the audience, hey, this is what's happening, this is what we're trying to do. I'm not really the biggest supporter of remakes and reboots and live action retellings, but Ocean Waves is one that has such a good structure. I mean, the story of Ocean Waves is just really framed so beautifully that it has every right to be at least a 4 out of 5 stars. But it's just really, at the end of the day, kind of leaves a lot to be desired, which really is frustrating for this film. I mean, maybe it's the fact that Miyazaki wasn't really heavily involved with this film, but still, I think Ocean Waves had a lot of, times where it's like, hey, this film can be really good if they really dive into this a little bit more, and then they don't. They do the exact opposite, so that makes it really frustrating. But still, like I said, Ocean Waves is like an hour long, so go ahead and watch it. It does feel like it's like 4 hours long because the screenplay is really frustrating to sit through, but still, I recommend you watch it, take some notes, and give me your own feedback. Then after Ocean Waves, the last film I watched for the month was The World of Tenenbaums from Wes Anderson. We are diving into Criterion July here, so, 50% off all Criterions. So that means I had to tap into their filmography a little bit more, and The World of Tenenbaums is one of those films. The World of Tenenbaums is not my kind of movie. It is really good, but it's not exactly for me. It's still a banger, but I don't exactly love it. It is really good in the sense that it's more of like Modern Family and also Game of Thrones and also kind of like, what's that one series on HBO? I can't remember. I'm going to remember it soon. But still, overall, great cast. You have, Ben Stiller, Gwyneth Paltrow, a ton of banger actors in there. But still, is it really my thing? No, I still appreciate it, still really like it, but I don't really like it that much. I mean, it's still a good film, but, Wes Anderson didn't really cook like, he has in the past. I think in my Wes Anderson ranking, The World of Tenenbaums, doesn't even scrape top 3. It is a, like I said, a good film, but in terms of Wes Anderson standards, I'm a little bit disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's just like when you have films like Asteroid City, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Isle of Dogs, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Moonrise Kingdom, the list goes on. He has a lot of banger films, so, I mean, this one isn't exactly bad, but hey, is it The Grand Budapest Hotel? No. Is it Fantastic Mr. Fox? No, it's not that either. So, yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed. Once again, like all these films, I still recommend you go out there and watch the film to really, build your own opinion. But for me, The World of Tenenbaums is good, but also just, kind of meh, kind of bland. Well, that wraps it for the month of June here. A pretty, disappointing month for me. I usually watch like 30 plus films a month, but, this month life got in the way, really annoying, really just really makes me mad. I'm really angry right now by me not watching a lot of movies, but it's whatever. There's also a lot of shows in the month of June, so, House of the Dragon, The Boys, The Bear, the big three of cinema right now for television, so I can't complain that much. I bet you watched like 40 films in the month of June, so let me know you watched down below. You can send us fan mail, or if you're on Spotify, we have that little Spotify note down there too, so I really want to know, really want to hear what you have to say. Stay tuned this month. It's the month of Deadpool, so we got to finish up that Deadpool series. I'm kicking it into like high gear with that series, so we're going to be seeing like at least 2 X-Men episodes a week now, so I can really catch up on myself. But I'm really hyped for Deadpool. It's going to be a fun time, I hope. If this film's bad, I might just like weep for days on end. So, hope that doesn't happen. Hope Deadpool 3 is really good. Until the next time I talk to you, and until Deadpool 3, I'm going to go ahead and go to the gym, get some gains in. But hey, watch more movies, stay swagged out, stay cool. And of course, I've been your host Logan, and I'll see you guys in the movies.